You failed, and you're still here. That's not weakness. That's exactly where I need you. Most people think I only speak to the strong, to those who are ready, standing tall, certain. But that's not when I came. I came when everything had collapsed, when the weapons were dropped, when the question was, what is the point of any of this? That is when I came close. So before you leave, I want to ask you one thing. Not what you lost, not how far you fell. Do you know why you're still fighting? Because if you don't, you've been fighting for the wrong reason, and that wrong reason is exactly what broke you. Let me tell you what fighting is actually for. There comes a point where the math stops working, where what you might gain no longer justifies what you've already lost. You look at everything ahead and think, even if I win, what do I win? You start calculating, and the numbers don't add up. So you stop. But here's what you missed. You were never fighting for the outcome. You were fighting because this is your nature. Because this difficulty, this specific thing life handed you, was always yours. Not by accident, not by bad luck, by design. I don't place a battle in front of someone who cannot stand in it. I place it in front of someone who was made for it. Even if they don't know that yet, especially if they don't know that yet. The question was never whether you survive this. You will. The question is who you become when you do. Everyone thinks they understand this. Do the work. Don't chase the result. They nod, they agree. But the moment life hits, the moment the years of effort produce nothing, they break. Because they were attached the whole time. They were doing the work, yes, but they were doing it for the outcome. And when the outcome didn't come, the work felt like a lie. It wasn't a lie. It was preparation. Everything you built that didn't work, every attempt that fell apart. I don't waste that. I am not careless with human effort. What looked like failure from where you stood was construction from where I stood. You couldn't see it because you were inside it. You never see the building when you're laying the foundation. You just feel the weight. But here's what I need you to actually hear. The fight is not a path to something better. The fight is the point. Not as punishment, not as a test before the good part starts. The showing up, the trying, the refusing to stop even when every reason to continue is gone. That is where I am. That is where we meet. I don't live in your victories. I live in your persistence. In the moment where there is no logical reason to keep going and you keep going anyway. That's where you find me. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, you don't know what I've lost. You don't know how many times I've tried. You don't know how tired I am. I know. I've watched people lose everything before they gained anything. I've watched years disappear, not as punishment, not because life is cruel, but because some things can only be built in difficulty. You don't learn stillness in comfort. You don't build real faith when everything is going well. Faith built in easy times is decoration. Faith built after the collapse, after the failure, after the loss. That is the real thing. That is what carries you through what's coming next. And something is coming next. Not because you've earned it, not because the suffering was enough, but because this is simply how it works. Things shift. They always shift. The question is not whether they will. The question is what you will have built inside yourself by the time they do. Because the version of you that comes through this will not be the version that started it. That person, the one on the other side, they are the reason I put you here. They are the answer to the question you keep asking. What is all of this for? This is what it's for, not the result. The person the result requires you to become. So I'm not asking you to be optimistic. I'm asking you to be precise. Do the work in front of you today, not the work you wish you were doing, not the work you'll do when things get easier. The work that is yours right now. Do it fully. Do it without holding back. And then let go of what comes next. And tomorrow, do it again. Not because it will definitely work, but because you were made for this. Because I don't make mistakes. Because the version of you that keeps going even now, even here, even after everything, is exactly who this world needs. You asked why you should keep going. That's why. Now pick it back up.